Oh, hey, we're talking about Fallout. Up next on Geek Out SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Saturday and we're having a spectacular time.
Woo woo! Yeah, baby. It's been a little while since we did a live.
It's just been like, we skipped a week.
Yeah.
We skipped a week, but we were like dead tired.
So there's a video that I just put up yesterday.
Yeah.
So it may kind of interfere with this one a little bit. But for Vincent's 50th birthday, went and did a blacksmithing class. Yeah, go ahead. Show them all.
That.
So yeah, that is the knife. I don't have my knife with me. I probably should have brought it. But so there's a video up that we just put up yesterday of the blacksmithing class, which was phenomenal.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And it got me thinking about what we're kind of talking about today.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But we were so dead last week.
We were dead last week.
Blacksmithing is exhausting, just so you know.
I was like, I think it took me like 4 days to not be sore.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
My skin is barely growing back in some of the places where it tore off on my hammer. So, but it's still fun. The pain was totally worth it.
Yeah, yeah. Now I gotta look for a sheath for it.
Yeah.
Or make one.
So how did that class make you think about what we were talking about tonight?
So it kind of goes back to tonight we're talking about Fallout the series.
Right.
On Prime. So it's like in a wasteland. It kind of takes me back to what do we have to go into a time like that, and we have to make our own stuff.
Right.
Like weapons and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of why it got me in the mindset of just oh yeah, well that's kind of a thing that you would do, or you would need to figure out
a skill set. Well, you've always been fascinated with prepping. It's just one of those things that you've always kind of leaned more into. You've looked for materials and stuff for.
Yeah, I don't go crazy, but I don't have a bunker out in the backyard or anything like that. Yeah.
Although maybe we should after watching Fallout.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we need to start doing is digging a giant hole in the yard and making a bunker.
And have old technology in there.
Yeah. Because you want it to be the 1950s.
Yeah.
When you're in a bunker.
So, let's get back to Fallout. Fallout, the TV series, the Prime series. It's based on a video game, a fairly old video game.
It's fairly old, but they've had so many iterations of it, right? That it's stayed modern for a lot of people, right? So with you're a Metal Gear guy and a Diablo guy, right?
Right.
But those games have never lost your interest because they've continued to put things out that you can play. So
and so did Fallout.
Right. So Fallout is the same.
Fallout is one of those games. Now it started off looking, because it was back in the day where you were launching this from DOS, from MS-DOS. So even though you're playing it on Windows, you had to launch it from a DOS window. And I used to play a game around the same time called Siberia from Interplay, because Interplay initially made the Fallout game.
Well, so initially, because you were telling me about this Siberia, and I was looking it up. So actually, what I found out was initially Interplay made a game called Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a PC game and everything. Then that game then becomes Fallout, right? So it moves on. So in 1988, you have this Wasteland game, and it's that old school, you're there on your PC playing that pixelated game, and then it evolves, and it's not until 1997 that we get Fallout.
Yeah.
So Matthew says, the moment we lose AC, I'm giving up. I would not make it in the Fallout universe. I believe that, Matt, because Matt lives in like a 55 degrees in his house or something like that. So yeah,
Way too
Matt, you
cold
would be
for
one of the
us.
first ones to go. Yeah, sorry. I think those of us from the 80s, we would probably last longer.
Well, I know on TikTok right now, there's they're doing a lot of videos of, you put a picture on there and then I think you use CapCut to do what it would look like in the Fallout universe.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's really
that's
cool.
real popular right now.
It uses
because
AI
the show
to like
kind of show you
rearrange stuff.
what's going on. For me, like obviously, I'm not so keen on the end of the world, although COVID was kind of nice, so maybe. Anyway, it's a concept that we revisit a lot, right?
Right.
It's something that I think that gets in the human psyche and kind of it kind of scares us, but I think that we like to do this whole like Hunger Games-esque thought process of, well, I think I would make it through. I would have this skill set. I would be able to do that. Which I thought was interesting because when you see them in the vault and you see Lucy and her family and everything, they think that they're preparing themselves
Goosey.
to go out into the outside world, right? They
Yeah.
have all these classes and they have all these things. And so they think they're doing it. And it kind of gave me that Hunger Games-esque vibe, right? You're inside and you're practicing and you have these skill sets, but what happens when you have to go out there into the real turmoil,
Yeah.
right?
So mentioning that, let's go ahead and cue up the
Oh, I have the trailer,
trailer.
right?
Yeah.
If I press the right button, that would be awesome. Here we go.
Hello there. I'm here to show you a wonderful place. A veritable Camelot of the nuclear age. Not made by God Almighty, but the working man. You can be a hero by purchasing a residence in a Vault-Tec vault today. Because if the worst should happen tomorrow, the world is going to need you to build a better day after.
The mission of the vaults should be important to everyone. To come up to the surface one day and restart civilization. Can you tell me what's happened in the last 200 years?
Holy shit. You're an actual vault dweller.
I am.
I thought all you dipshits were dead. What you're doing is insane.
I don't want to set the world
It isn't like the vault out there. It's big.
fire. I just want to start.
I've had a rough week.
Flaming
Practically every person I've met up here has tried to kill me.
I'm simply going to harvest your organs.
in my heart.
You need to go home. You come from a world of rules, of laws. You should not be alone.
Why did you join the Brotherhood?
To hurt the people who hurt me?
People are going to come after you.
Ain't much stage cleanup here, Vaulty. Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs. You look out at this wasteland, looks like chaos, but there's always somebody behind the wheel.
What is happening here?
Everyone wants to save the world. They just
to disagree on how.
There you are, you little killer.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. So,
Just watching that makes me want to go watch it again.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch it
was
again.
So good. Just phenomenal. When we first started watching it, it reminded me of that Brendan Fraser movie, Blast from the Past. You know, where they're down in the bunker and they think that the whole world...
Kind of sort of the same...
Yeah, that kind of like 1950s,
when it
like
first
they were
started,
stuck.
yeah.
They were stuck in that time zone, in that time period, because here they are in their bunkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't know how the world is progressing up there, right? So Lucy, you see Lucy, she's the main character.
She's the main character that goes throughout the series, and we're just following that character for the most part. Besides Maximus.
Maximus, and then also the man that you saw at the beginning, he's Cooper something. He's the actor that gets people to buy the Vault Tech. So we're kind of seeing him as well.
You're kind of seeing like character types that you can play within, I think, the game. Characters that are in the game.
So I
don't know if you can play as a goon or not. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Because it's been a long time since I played Fallout.
Yeah, our sons play it, so I know that they said that it like matched a lot of the lore, and several of the articles that I've read says that they did a good job of matching the lore, but I never played it, so I'm not sure if Lucy or Maximus or anybody is an actual...
I don't think the names aren't in there. No.
So what did you think of the actress that plays Lucy?
So Ella Purnell, she's a British actress, right? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't know it at all.
No, that happens a lot with these
British. You would not know it at all. I think she did a really good job. One of the things that I read that she did was that when she was coming on, I think Jonathan, the director, I think he directed like the first 3 episodes, or 3 of the episodes. Mm-hmm. He told her, "Oh, there's no need to play the game. You can just do it." Well, he kept telling her, "You don't have to play the game." Well, she wanted to play the game, and she did play the game, so she could kind of get into the character and kind of like do things how they would be done within the game, so she could stay true to the fans.
Yeah, and she actually said that when they asked her about this role, she remembered her brothers playing it when they were growing up. Yeah. So it wasn't something that was completely foreign to her. So she did have an understanding of it. Matthew says the show characters are mostly new. Are they modeled after any in the game, Matthew? Or is there like these archetypes?
There's a mod that you can do in Fallout 76 that you can get a character to look like Lucy
or Max. Okay.
Like Lucy, yeah.
What was funny, because I read an article, because you had told me about her playing the games, and I was like, oh, well, that's like really good, because that's something that we've said before. Like, these people need to read the books or read the comics or play the games, right? So I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So then I was kind of reading some articles about her, and it's funny because aside from playing the games, they were trying to explain to her like what her character should be like, and so they're kind of going on this like, you know, round table kind of talking about it or whatever, and somebody told her, well, imagine if you were like Ned Flanders, but if Ned Flanders killed people. She was like, I think I can totally get into that. And so now that I've heard them say that, I can totally see that kind of in a way, right? Yeah. She's like real sweet and oakley dokley. So he says they're completely new. Vault dwellers and the Brotherhood exist, of course, but you could watch the show with no prior knowledge. And so that's what Dad and I basically have no prior knowledge. Yeah.
A little bit, but it's been a long time since I played it.
Well, and the boys played it, but again, I wasn't like really paying attention to that.
And I didn't play the new ones, like because it was originally made by Interplay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was when they went bankrupt, they were bought out for like $5.53 million.
Something like
just
something
the
close
IP
to
for
$6
Fallout.
million. Yeah.
But just for Fallout.
So who has it now? I forgot.
Bethesda
has
Games.
it now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and then I can't remember if Fallout 5 is already out or it's in the works. There's a bunch of
There's a bunch of Fallouts out there.
There's a bunch of different Fallout titles. So then the other thing that
So this one is kind of in the era of Fallout 3.
Oh, okay.
So if you wanted to play the first one that kind of looks like the same kind of like era and the same kind of like things you see around, it would be Fallout 3.
So Matthew says Fallout 5 is now. So that's like the current one that's out.
Yeah.
So Matthew had said, like, you have the Vault Dweller. So that's who Lucy is. So we see Lucy and we see her vault. And her vault is really flourishing, right? And they're doing well. And they're living their little 1950s lifestyle. And they're practicing some skill sets should they need them. And so they're kind of living in this bubble, right? Yeah. And I don't want to give away too much of the show, but they're trying to kind of make relations between the different vaults. Oh, Matthew says Fallout 5 doesn't exist yet. Okay, they're working on it. And he said the show takes place after the events of Fallout 4. So it's like after 4 before we get the game of 5. So it's kind of like to bridge the way. So if you haven't seen it, there's been an end of world event, right? And people that had these vaults, you see him do the ad at the beginning for Vault Tech, and you learn more about how that kind of comes about and who Vault Tech is. Because Vault Tech is a big corporation. It's kind of the bad guy, right? It's kind of like the Umbrella Corporation, basically in Resident Evil-esque. So the Vault people, they live down in the vaults. But they're not the only ones that survive, as we find out later on. And so things happen. Stuff happens that I don't want to give away because it'll ruin it for you. And then Lucy has to come out of the vault. Right. So what did you think? Because I'm a big character person, right? I have to believe the character, and I have to believe the actor or actress that's in the character. What did you think about Lucy as a character?
Lucy as a character, for me, it seemed to be very video game-esque because she had some skills to start out, but not much. And she learned as she went through, as she experienced stuff. So I like the fact that she changed throughout the whole series.
Oh, I like that. I never thought about that. So she's got kind of like an RPG-esque vibe, right? Yeah. So it's like I have this basic skill set, but now I've done this thing and I've gained like more levels on my skill set, basically. Well, and see, I liked it from like a book reader's character development standpoint, because a lot of times, I've complained a lot about Daisy in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and how I didn't feel like they played her character well. And I especially think that a lot of women characters don't get played very well, right? They're either like mousy or they're like, oh, I'm having a pillow fight or whatever, And so the thing I liked about Lucy is she starts in that, oh my God, I'm so innocent and I'm from the 1950s and I'll clean your house. But then maybe I could kick your butt, but like not a lot. And so she goes out into this Mad Max-esque world and she's all like, I'm so cute. And then she's like, oh crap. Like the world is really mean. And she's like, well, I have a mission and like okay, I'm just going to go do what I've got to do, you know, and she just starts building and building, and she's just like, well, I'm just going to kick your ass too, you know. Yeah, so Matt said she has the skills she thinks she needs, but she needs to grow them to survive.
Right.
Really, when you see her in that scene with her potential husband, or her husband, actually, he is, and she does pretty good, you think, oh, she's going to fare pretty well outside, and you think that they're going to make that switch for you pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
But then they put her out in the world, and she kind of has that naivete and stuff. So I really liked that character arc for her as far as like as a book reader's standpoint.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about it from a gamer standpoint.
Yeah. From more and more, it looked like she was gaining more skills, and she, at the end, she wasn't as naive as she started at all.
She still has a little bit of it, but they kind of kill it in her at the end. What little bit she had left kind of gets crushed.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see in season 2 what she grows into now that that part of her has basically been crushed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so because I know they just wrapped up 2, I think.
But we get to see like robots in there that are similar, that are like just like you have in the game. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. The Pit Boys are cool.
I love the robot. I don't know if this is in the game, but I love the robot that's in there with basically the stoner guys.
Yeah,
and
that one specifically is.
He's like, oh, come on, I'm going to take you back and kill you and harvest your organs or whatever.
I don't know that robot does that in the game. He does it in the show, but I think it's just like a general robot that just is helpful.
Oh, robots will likely be big in season 2, Matt.
And
says,
that's the
without
thing.
giving
Yeah,
too much
season
away.
2 has already been approved
Yeah.
and ready to go.
Yeah, I think they wrapped already, didn't they?
I don't know.
The filming? I think it's ready. Like, I mean, I know they just put this one out.
They
but...
just put this one out, so yeah, I don't know.
Well, I can't wait for season 2. Like, I think it's going to be great. I love a good robot. I mean, some of my favorite characters in Star Wars are the robots.
Yeah.
I love the little robots, like in Clone Wars and stuff. So when I saw that little robot and he's like, he's so proper, but he's like gonna kill you, it just cracks me up to no end.
Because they have to be like really good actors, because how do you emote something that's can emote?
That's a can, right?
Yeah.
Matthew says Mr. Handy, which is what the robot basically is, does whatever you tell it to do. Nice. Well, that's good, because then maybe you're going to tell it to do something to help you or whatever. So yeah. I can imagine what's going on. So so Matthew here is giving his mom and dad tips because he's our oldest kid, so he's helping us along with this conversation. So thank you, Matthew. But one of the things I'm going to dig Matthew about and bring up is, since Matthew was little, his like screen name for everything is Maximus. And so
yeah.
I texted him the other day because I didn't know what the characters were in Fallout, and I was like, so is that where you got this from all along, was from this character Maximus? And he goes, no, Mom, it's not really in the game. That was from Liar Liar. But I do like Maximus. You kind of like him and you kind of hate him, right?
Yeah, but as you go through the series, you understand why he is the way he is. Because everyone in the Fallout universe is just trying to survive, and they're going to do what it takes to survive.
Well, but he has a little bit of, I wouldn't say a savior complex, but he's kind of, like, he does want to save people because he got saved, but he also, I think, to an extent, when he begins, he wants that notoriety. Like, he wants to be that thing. He wants to be in the Brotherhood so badly that you kind of see that he'll basically do anything it takes to be in that mech suit or whatever it's called.
He kind of reminds me of Finn in
He does
Star
remind
Wars.
me to Finn a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, Matthew said Maximus is the least likable in the beginning, but he liked his journey. And I would agree with that. Like, at the beginning, he's very wimpy and he's getting his butt handed to him a lot, right? And you're like, stand up for yourself, dude. And then, yeah, power armor. That's what it is. I was like, I don't know, it's a mech suit. And then, you know, he goes out and he's supposed to be the squire for this night. And then he's kind of like, well, if you die, I get to take your armor and pretend to be you. And I get to be cool, you know? And so, and you see him several times throughout his story arc. He does
making
things,
moral choices.
he misleads people so that he can basically get to where he wants to be.
Yeah.
What I liked about his journey is you see him open up just a little bit, right? Because he opens up to the guy who kind of kicked his butt and was like, oh, well, I'm kind of sorry that we kicked his butt, right? And he opens up and he makes himself vulnerable, and then he gets stabbed in the back, basically, right? By that guy. And so it kind of is just another lesson that teaches him, I should be in this for myself and only for myself, right? And so I think we see that, but I think I agree with what you said, is we see that in him because that's his survival mechanism, right? Is nobody else is going to take care of me but me. I need to take care of me and get what I need and take what I need, no matter who it hurts. Although you do see him kind of make a connection with Lucy. But I think, again, that's that kind of savior complex, right? Where he wants to take care of Lucy. He wants to save her, because that's kind of what he's always wanted to do, right? Is to save somebody. And so there's this naive little vault girl, you know, so let me do what it takes.
We're talking about the night. People were like really ticked off that Michael Rappaport was the Knight, because he's done this big old controversy where he's like always talking mess about people, like all the time, like on TikTok and stuff like that. At first he was doing it for Trump, and then he was doing it for Biden. He was talking about that, so people are like up in arms. Oh, I don't want to see Fallout now. He has a very small part.
He's the night before Maximus takes his suit. Oh yeah, he's got a tiny part.
Yeah.
He's got a tiny part. Matthew said the point seems to be kind of the wasteland has no winners or losers, just survivors. I would agree with that. That was kind of the message that I got from this. I mean, when you look at it from a character standpoint, yes, obviously, if you've watched TVs, movie shows, read
because
books,
it really reminded me of The Walking Dead for the survivor aspect of it.
Right, because you want to, I think, kid yourself to believe that there is like good in humanity and bad in humanity, but when it comes down to it, we'll probably all do whatever it takes for us to survive, for our families to survive, for the people that we care about to survive. I don't know that I'd go to the whole cannibalism route, but maybe. I think it just depends. It does give you mad cow disease, though, so you probably don't want to do that. So one of the interesting things that I found to be interesting about Maximus is that actor is from Texas.
Yeah, he's from Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't feel like we see that a whole lot. We don't really get to see a lot.
Or if we do, they don't really like bring note to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because over the years, there's been tons of people from even San Antonio, Austin area, all over Texas that have done really great things. Mm-hmm. Carl Burnett was from San Antonio.
Yeah, but it's not really talked about, like you said. So we'll see if he brings it up because he's going to get notoriety. He hasn't done a whole lot before this. He's done a couple of things that people would have potentially recognized him from, but not a whole lot, and definitely not a lot in what I would consider the geek spectrum, so that people would really know him.
Yeah.
Neither he nor Ella, who plays Lucy. But we do kind of have that geek aspect from other...
Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah, because we have him from Twin Peaks, and we also have him from Dune. So that's the geeky aspect that will attract us Gen Xers.
Yeah, because he's kind of from our era, and so as soon as you see him as Lucy's dad, you're like, oh, I know him. He's done really good in other geek things. Sorry, I yawned all of a sudden. So I'm gonna buy in just a little bit because of that, right? And then who's the other one? He's the ghoul.
Yeah, the ghoul.
He also has he has several parts in the series itself. Well, not several. He's the actor.
Cooper Howard.
Yeah, he's the actor Cooper Howard.
But it's played by Walton Goggins.
Yeah, and he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff, and he's usually an asshole.
Yeah, he usually
jerk.
is. He was in this show I used to love to watch called The Principals, or The Vice Principals, or something like that.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah,
and he was such a jerk in that.
Yeah.
But I love that and in the trailer they show this is, so he's there like kind of the narrator, he does the advertising or whatever. And we get this Twilight Zone-esque moment, right?
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, like that's another thing. Like it's just like all these little subtle things that kind of draw us in. For those, like Matthew was saying, you don't have to have played the game.
This even should draw in the baby boomers for this show.
I don't know if the baby boomers know how to watch Amazon Prime.
No, but if they did, they would recognize
because
they went through the thing where like, oh, a bomb's going off. Let me get under the table so I'll be safe.
Yeah.
You're not going to be safe if a bomb.
Right, and that's how we start. We start the show with that era,
right?
That the baby boomers would recognize, right? And that like, oh, if it happens, like this is what we would do or whatever. So, and we see Cooper in that very first episode.
Right. And that's the thing. How long has he been alive?
Oh, they said on there how long he's been alive because it's a long.
They allude to it.
Time.
They don't say it. You can probably do some calculations with stuff they say in there, but it's a long time.
I thought they said like it had been like 500 years or something. Like it's a stupid long time. Like it's a long, long time. Well, and when you first see him in that first episode, the way they talk to him and that he's at a child's birthday party, you know that he's fallen from grace somehow, right?
Yeah.
Because of the way the men talk to him, like, oh, you used to be somebody and now you're here doing a kid's birthday party, basically.
Right.
And so you don't really know much about him. And then his character kind of goes away for a long time. Well, maybe that was just a weird one-off and they put too much information in that one. Like, there was too much potential character development like this.
That doesn't make sense. Why does his shirt look blue and yellow like the...
Yeah. So I liked that too because it kind of threw you off. There wasn't so much, because my big complaint lately is that I yawn too much. My big complaint lately is that everything is too recognizable, right? I know this is coming next. I know this is coming next. I know this is coming next, right? So one of the things that I really liked about this series is I didn't always know what was coming next.
You didn't always know. No.
You didn't always know. There were a couple of really good things, really kind of a shocker things that popped up.
Right at the beginning, though. Even right at the beginning. When she gets married.
Yeah.
That I did not see coming.
No, I didn't think that that's what that was.
Yeah.
I thought something bad was coming, but not
that.
Not that.
And that's definitely something you should see that.
Yes, because we don't want to ruin that for
That
you. That was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that I liked was, oh man, I can't remember what they called the creatures, but it's when she's with him and he's the ghoul at this point, where it's Lucy and the ghoul, and then they lose something in the water. I just lost my brain. In the water that they needed.
Yeah, the head.
Yes, they lose the head in the water that they needed, and then he calls the creature something, like the beaver or something that you thought, oh well, it's like a mutated something tiny or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's not gonna. It's gonna be awful. Or gator? Did he call it a gator? Maybe.
Something like that.
So I thought it's gonna be like a mutated animal that we know of or whatever. And then it comes out and it's basically like a ginormous man-eating axolotl, which is normally something that people
that can
think
grab
are cute.
you with fingers inside of its inside of its mouth.
It's like the thing from S.H.I.E.L.D., the kitty cat that like puts out that. So I like
but
that.
Big.
But like huge, ginormous. And I like that because you see a bear that's radioactive and but it's still a bear. So when he called it the gator or whatever he called it, I think it was a gator. Now my mind just went blank. But I think he called it a gator. And so I thought it was going to be like a mutated alligator, like a giant swamp thingy or whatever. And so then, it's this little cutesy axolotl, but it's going to kill you. So I like that in the game too, or the show about the game too, is that things seem like they might be cute or innocent or whatever, and then they're going to kill you. And then, there's like an old Western town with like an old lady and everything, and it's going to kill you. It's like basically everything is
going to kill you.
So you better look out before you go.
If the radiation doesn't kill you.
Yeah. Which, it's not great, but it's not terrible either.
Yeah.
The radiation. Like, it's not like if it had the event had just happened. Like, we're talking a couple of 100 years since it happened. What I want to know more about, which I'm guessing they're going to show us more about, or maybe because I'm not good at paying attention, is whatever the ghoul is drinking. Because it keeps him from having like mad ghoul disease or whatever.
Well, it keeps him alive for all this time.
Well, and it keeps him from going feral. Because they show us that the ghouls can go feral, and that's one of the fears that they have of them, is them going feral. So it's something that keeps him from going feral. But I'm assuming we're going to get more. I would think we would get more on who's still making it, why is it still around, what is it made of, what does it do?
It's all Vault Tech.
It's all Vault Tech. Everything is Vault Tech.
Everything is Vault Tech.
Well, and it's funny, I guess...
Because they're just there to make money.
Right.
They just want to make money.
Yeah. And I guess I've seen so many things that sometimes my brain, like...
Puts them together.
I see like something in this show and it reminds me of this movie, or something in this and it reminds me of this other show. So they kind of have this discussion of ghouls and ghoul rights, and like, Lucy wants to let the people go that are in the supermarket or whatever, and then becomes kind of like, a feral ghoul or whatever. And so, that she doesn't really know about. And it reminded me of the zombie movie, where he's like the zombie, but he still like retains his memories, and he tries to talk to her and
he
stuff.
Was
Yeah. And then so they're trying to have like zombie rights or whatever. So
yeah, I forget the name of the movie.
I forget the name
but
of that
it's like
movie.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. So I get all these connections. I'm like watching these things and I'm like, oh, that's like this. Oh, that's like this. But again, maybe it's because I've watched too many things. But that's the thing is I've watched a lot of things. We've seen a ton of things. And I think like I've seen it all. I'm not going to like it. Like nothing's going to be that great. And then I see something like this and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was phenomenal. And you worry about something that was a video game that then they're trying to turn into a series or a movie, or because we've seen some video game movies tank pretty bad. I would say most of the series we've seen have been animated series.
Yeah. Now, just recently they've had, well, I don't know if I haven't seen it yet, but Twisted Metal came out. I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah, we haven't seen that one yet. The trailer
Yeah.
looks good, really good for that one.
Yeah.
So that's another one that looks like it's done well, but we'll have to watch it to see.
I've heard good things about it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it.
The other one we really, really liked that was a video game turned series was The Last of Us.
Yes. Yeah. They did a really good job on that one.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if that one's getting more seasons or... It's been such a while since we've seen it.
It's been a while, but they're gonna do more seasons on it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was trying to think of what else they had turned into a series. I mean, I can think of movies like Rampage and Pixels, and obviously we just got the Mario movie, but it's animated. Sonic, which is kind of a half CGI animation / half live action. Yeah. So
Resident Evil movies.
We've had Resident Evil movies. They've got the Halo. Oh, Matt just said that Halo. Well, I used to watch Red versus Blue with the boys, which was a Halo thing, which was hilarious. But that was animated. But they also have the Halo live action, which we haven't watched yet because our previous producer said it was hot garbage.
Which one?
Halo. The live action. But he's like a super Halo fan, so he was like very adamant that it was a steamy pilot.
And I had said we'd probably watch it anyway.
I know, we still never watched it.
So that's definitely something that we need to put in our queue.
And then when... like towards the end of our teens and stuff, I think they had like a Donkey Kong cartoon. Mm-hmm. They did a Castlevania cartoon too. That was like real dark and gritty.
Yeah, well, they have a new one that just came out recently.
Is it a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe we'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Because I've been like really into cartoons again lately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would like to check that out. Castlevania is one of those that like we grew up with, and so... There's just something about it that I love, like it's very old school Nintendo, whipping the hearts and everything. I think there's something to be said about these games that people grew up with, that they enjoyed, and then getting to see them played out in series, and so you get to see more depth in them and stuff if they're done well, right? And that's the thing. Matt says Castlevania anime is super good. I don't know if you're talking about the new one or the old one. I really liked the old one. The old one was really good. It's really gritty. Like it's very like intense, but I thought it was really good. We liked that. So I just wonder if there's gonna be more of these now that these series video games
live action.
Dear
games.
God help us if
it
they
seems
do
like
Grand
it.
Theft Auto. And throw a hoe
But just
out of
like
a car.
I don't know how you can do that because there's just no roles.
I mean, I guess you could sit there and write stuff up, I don't know. Maybe it becomes like a Fast and Furious type thing.
How do you do Twisted Metal?
I don't know. That's definitely one we're going to have to watch and see if we can figure out if they did a good job with that or not. So, so your favorite, we'll end with this thought. Your favorite game is Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Yeah. Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. If you could see it as a series, Would you rather have live action or animated?
Really be hard to do it live action,
You think so?
but it would be really cool if you could.
What do you think would be the hardest part of doing it live action?
Just everything that happens within there. It'd be a lot of money to do all the special effects that you would need to do.
Yeah. Who would be Snake? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but it just made me think of it.
For now, who would be Snake? At that point in time, how old is he? Like maybe 35?
Yeah, early 30s,
Yeah.
I would think. I feel like Henry Cavill's too big, too muscular. It would have to be, he's muscular, but like on a thinner frame, right?
Yeah. And it would have to be someone that could look rugged.
Yeah. I'm going to let you think on that. And then maybe I'll have you do a little short video, a little YouTube short.
Yeah.
And you can tell everybody, after you've had some time to ponder it, who you would like to see.
I think I know who it is.
All right. Well, I think people.
And I think we've talked about him recently.
I think people are gonna have to check out your short a little bit later
Yeah.
and see what you say, because I did put you on the spot there.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that was Fallout. I really enjoyed it. Colleen, did you enjoy that?
I did.
Yeah. So thanks for checking us out. I really appreciate it. If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, please click on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so the next time we go live, you'll know. But again, thanks for checking us out. I'm Vince.
And I'm over here and producing and doing all the things. And I'm Colleen.
Geek out, I say.